Hello, and welcome to Born Offside. It is a very special episode because it's the fourth one of the season, but it's the first time you decide to crawl back to regular life, Kat.
I know, I was avoiding responsibility for a little while,
Amazing.
for a couple of weeks. I feel like that player that's injured at the start of the season and then they, make their season debut like weeks in and they've missed out on a lot. But
Yeah, did you get it? And you're in Spain. You were probably where a lot of us would rather be. But did you get any FOMO of Born Offside of the couch? Not really.
Of course, no. I miss hanging out with you guys. Like this is the He asked me the question, doesn't like the answer.
No, I believe it.
I think I'm very blessed to say that I love what I do. And Mondays, I love Mondays. I'm Born Offside. I get to spend time with you and Olan.
Yeah.
And the break was nice though. I definitely needed it. I think a lot of us felt a bit of that kind of hangover after the World Cup. So it was nice to go back to Spain where I used to live, reconnect with friends, practice my Spanish.
Ooh, how's it going?
Things. It's pretty good actually.
Is
My
there
friends
anything
were
you want to say to
surprised.
the audience in Spanish? Because we have a bit of a Spanish-speaking audience.
I mean, I can say
Do you want to just give them a message from you?
maybe we'll do it at the end.
Oh,
we'll do
come
a Spanish
on.
message at the end.
Come
No.
on. Okay.
We'll do a
Fair
Spanish message at the end. But no, I had a great time. Like, it was the
Amazing.
best. But I definitely missed being back.
Yeah. And
It's a shame though that we are missing.
well, no one knows where Olan is. And
He's actually gone missing.
he was in Bali this weekend. Credit to him. He needed his rest.
He did.
And he was working hard for that Bali photo. He was working hard on his body and he got the photo.
Do you know what? The outfit was top notch.
Yeah, it's Mr. Tekkers.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know? Anyway, though, he hasn't turned up today. Now, as far as I know, Olan got the red-eye flight back. He should be here. He is in Sydney. I know he's in Sydney.
Do we
now.
know for sure that
I
he's
know
in
he's
Sydney?
in Sydney. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was flying out last night.
Because I wouldn't blame him if he thought I'm going to extend a couple of days.
Oh, if he's in Bali, fair
Yeah.
play. But if you're in Sydney, you get here and you do the pod.
Yeah. Because I came in last week off my 27-hour journey home
And you
to
came in.
record with you guys.
Yeah, exactly
Something
right.
else.
Yes.
So there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. I want to give him a call and see if he answers here
Oh, this is
live
hilarious.
on the pod because he owes everyone an apology if he does answer. He not just us, but he owes all you guys an apology. So let's see. He's not going to answer. He's going to dodge me because he knows I'm going to try and get him to
Yeah.
come in. He thinks, oh shit. I know he's awake
Do you reckon
too.
he's
He liked
asleep?
something. I sent him something on Instagram and he double tapped it, so he's awake. What? Can you believe this guy?
I can though.
You can, huh?
Yeah.
What a lazy shit. Olan, this is what you get, mate. I'm just throwing it out there for everyone to know that you've dogged not only us, but the whole audience today. So there you go.
Not available.
No message.
The
from him.
person you're calling has avoided your call.
I do love him though. Maybe he'll call back during the pod. We'll get him on. No,
No, it's all love.
OLANTEKKERS.
It's all love.
It's all love. We're going to have a special guest, producer Hamish, because also producer Shabs is in Europe.
He's having a beautiful time.
He's having a great time. So producer Hamish, which you guys have actually seen on the show before, he's going to pop in a bit later on to talk all things European football. We're going to start with the local stuff because we keep doing it in reverse order. But now the A-League's not too far away. We've had some Australia Cup action, Sydney FC, cruise past Western United, Brisbane beating the Wanderers. But the ones that I really want to talk about was Melbourne Knights. Massive win for them. Means that we have an MPL team in the semi-final. They scored 2 late goals to get past Heidelberg. The other one, though, Melbourne City. I don't know if you saw much of this. Melbourne City beat Metro Stars. Metro Stars, South Australian team. Hard-working team. It was a late winner. Penalty as well. And they carried on a little bit, Kat. So you had Terry Antonis shushing the local MPL audience and giving it these ones when you are the richest club in the league.
I mean, give it a rest.
Do you think this is a little bit offside from
Yeah,
Melbourne City? Should they be
absolutely.
more humble? Or is football, no matter who you're playing, you're allowed to be a bit of a grub?
I mean, when you look at it like that, yeah, football's football.
Yeah,
And
like-
your that competitive nature is always going to take over in those moments.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool in a sense to
Yeah.
see that a win at that level against that kind of team to them is enough to do that. Like
Yeah.
they're that hyped about it. They're
Yeah.
that serious about it.
Yeah.
Because you often see people going like, oh, but it's just an Australia Cup game. Or
Yeah.
they were playing an MPL team. The win doesn't mean as much. But
Yeah.
that kind of suggests that it was obviously a challenge.
Yeah, well, I think it's almost like respect for Metro Stars.
Yeah.
Like they should take it as a compliment. The fact
Yeah.
that they cared so much, that they were shitting themselves so much that they were going to lose to you.
Yeah.
And then they scored a scrappy pen and then they've celebrated and gone off in front of you and blah, blah, blah. It means they respect
Yeah.
you as a valid opposition.
It's definitely respect.
It is, yeah, I'd take it. But the other thing that happened, and this is a question coming from Joe K Football, on a scale of 1 to 10, how petty is Melbourne City ghosting Metro Stars after the quarterfinal? So apparently Metro Stars had a meal ready for them after the game and they just got on the bus and left.
Oh.
They stood them up, Kat. You ever been stood up?
No.
No, you never been like waiting.
No,
You ever stood someone up?
No, absolutely not.
But I don't know.
Absolutely not. That's just appalling behavior. My trick with not being stood up is like if you send that text message the day that you're supposed to meet someone and they don't reply,
You don't go.
the date's not happening.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people who get stood up, it's because they just decide they're going to show up and hope that the person also comes.
Nah, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
You validate on the day. Hey, we're still on for tonight. You do those ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously they didn't do that. That's clearly what Metro Stars had to do.
they didn't send
just
that
like,
text.
hey, baby, still on? Like while they're in the other change room, we're still on for dinner after the game, X. That didn't happen. Melbourne City left. But apparently what happened, they were getting fed on online. But
not food.
not food. Well, they probably had. I mean, Melbourne City. You'd think they could afford a nice cuisine after the game. Apparently, they released their football director tweeted saying, "We fully intended to stay. However, you should ask some of your senior officials who abuse our players, staff, and insulting our club after the game, and then why you'd expect us to feel welcome. It's disgraceful behaviour." So there's clearly beef here,
There's beef.
and I love it.
Yeah, you love some beef.
Well,
we
this-
all love beef.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a beef person. Burger, beef.
I like a chicken burger.
Yeah, see, I can tell. You always sit on the fence. That's why I can tell. But I love it. It means this is what the Australia Cup's about because these are clubs, Melbourne City, with all due respect, I know Victory is their rival, but they play Victory how many times a year?
Absolutely.
You never played Metro Stars. So now you've got a new rivalry, a newfound rivalry.
This is what I love about the Australia Cup.
That's brilliant.
And we followed, last season so intently. And obviously I've been away, but now that we're kind of at the nitty gritty end, I will be absolutely following it.
Yeah.
I love the storylines that come out of it because you actually do see so much of this tension that didn't exist between these clubs before.
Yeah. And you'll know Metro Stars now.
Yeah.
You'll know a team from the NPL of South Australia that why would you know if you've never even been to South Australia? But now you know. It's great. It's great for the game. Let's keep it local, but we're kind of going overseas because Karakuni Cross
I know.
has signed for Arsenal.
How good's this?
She's the third Matilda now
Yeah.
at that team.
Did you
currently.
see their TikTok that they released?
I don't understand that trend.
I don't know where it came from.
Right.
I just think it's great.
It was a cute little dance.
Yeah.
She's great on TikTok.
To be honest, like quite a few of the Matildas
they're
have like
quite
a
good.
solid TikTok following and whatever. But I've got to say, after the World Cup, I think Arsenal is my women's team.
Yeah.
I love Steph Catley, massive fan of hers. She's just an absolute legend.
She's ice cold.
And
great.
I love that they've signed Karakuni Cross. And it
Massive.
happened in the final moments. I think they almost potentially missed the deadline, but obviously the medical happened soon enough.
We spoke, I mean, I was when we were at Optus, doing the show every day, we spoke a lot about the influence of Ian Wright even being here.
Yes.
He kept tweeting about her specifically.
Yeah,
he was
he's
a big fan. He was a big fan of her and he was like, Arsenal, have a look. And then he's already posted with a Cooney Cross jersey. I wonder if he had an impact
I think
on
so.
Arsenal picking her up.
I think endorsement from players like that is so crucial to get them. It's not to say that she wasn't on the radar, but they might go, you know what, like there's something in this.
Yeah.
It's not just about the football at the end of the day. It's what can she bring to the club.
Exactly.
She's got this kind of like cult following now from Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Because all his fans now like her.
Like her as well. Yeah. It's amazing. So she'll be greeted with open arms. Fantastic young player.
And the fee was very high as well for women's football.
What was the fee? 320,000 British pounds.
Yeah.
Apparently you're going to quiz me on expensive
Well,
signings.
what do you think is the most expensive WSL signing or women's football signing?
Who
of all
or how
time?
much?
How much?
Do you know who it was?
Yeah.
Was it recent?
Relatively, yeah.
Who would have signed recent? I mean, it would have probably been Chelsea, yeah? Chelsea forked it out? No? City?
No.
Really? I don't know. What was the player, firstly?
It's Kira Walsh.
Oh. Don't think it's £1 million.
No.
No, I would say it's about 600,000.
No, it's less.
Really?
Yeah, this is the crazy thing is you're looking at players like Neymar and whatever, signing for hundreds of millions of dollars or pounds or euros.
Yeah.
Kira Walsh was the biggest signing in women's football and it was £470,000.
Wow, so like Cooney Cross is not far off.
Yes, there's only maybe 5 or 6 that have actually broken that 300K barrier.
A lot of them go for nothing, right? Because they finish their contract and they just walk.
Yeah, they go
It's an
mid.
interesting one.
Not to go mid-contract or something like that.
Obviously, the salaries are still a way off the men, but the salaries have increased. And like some players are getting paid quite well.
Yeah.
The transfer fees haven't though. And I wonder if that's got something to do with like worldwide appeal.
Probably.
Like I think when you sign a $50 million player, you maybe have in mind the marketing potential of that player and how many jerseys you're going to sell around the world.
Definitely. Like my theory is that, if Sam Kerr ever decides to change teams,
Yeah.
she'll probably break the transfer fee.
Yeah.
Because what comes with that is a lot more than
exactly
just Sam
right.
on your team.
Because I've always thought like Neymar, I remember like Neymar went for 220 million from Barca to Paris.
Yeah.
220 million. And I always thought about this. I thought Neymar's he's a better player than me. He's significantly better than me.
I'd say so.
Significantly better.
Yeah. Objectively, definitely
I
a
would
better
say
player.
Neymar is 50 times better than me.
Okay.
Maybe even 100.
So you're going to say that you're still
But hold on.
worth-
What I'm saying is you can't tell me Neymar physically as a footballer, and this is for not just me, I'm not just saying myself, I'm saying everyone listening to this pod, is Neymar 220 times better than me? And even if he was, that means I'm worth $1 million. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, but it's not. It's the marketing potential.
It's crazy.
I wouldn't
right?
sell as many
It's
jerseys.
absolutely crazy.
I don't think
But
I would.
yeah, well, on that, I obviously having just been in Spain, I wanted to see football while I was there.
Yeah.
It was the international break, so I didn't see the men play. But then when I wanted to see the Barca women play, they were protesting.
That's right.
So there were no games on that weekend because they were protesting the wage.
I mean, it's great that they're protesting, but it sucks that you're in town for one
Spanish
week.
love a protest at the
Far
moment. I
out.
was like,
I mean,
come on, guys.
So that's obviously ongoing, but you were there for the sacking of Rubiales. You were there for the sacking of Jorge Vilda.
Yes.
What?
All
like,
of it.
how?
Well, I was there 2 days after the final. So
yeah.
I was at the final.
Yeah.
I saw the Spanish girls walking through. I saw Jenny Hermoso. Like after everything, it was kind of crazy because at the time, everyone was really focused on Olga and how she lost her father.
Yes,
and obviously the kiss had happened, but it wasn't the headlines.
Yeah.
But then by the time, 48 hours later when I was in Spain, it was all about Hermoso, it was all about Rubiales and the kiss and everything that was taking place.
Yeah.
And every conversation that I had.
Okay, so people were really invested.
Oh, everybody
I'm
was
talking like the
talking about it.
average Joes down at your local bar.
I was only
everyone-
I wasn't with football people. I was
Okay.
with my friends from back there. They
Shit.
come from small towns.
Yeah.
I was having lunch with their families where there's a massive language barrier, but
Right.
the conversations were about Rubiales.
So it was national
It was
news.
about everything that was happening.
Yeah.
And I think
Was the common consensus everyone wanted
yeah.
these guys out?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I think a lot of it, like those who were a little bit more in the know were like, oh, we've had issues for a really long time.
Yeah.
I think, the one thing was, the world's looking now. So it's not the issues that were previously an issue of the Spanish Federation, an issue that Spanish players had now become world news.
Yeah, it's a bad
And
look for
everyone
Spain,
was
man.
watching
Like
them.
you think
Yeah.
like no, you don't want to
It's a
generalize.
really bad
But
look.
you think Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, these southwestern European countries should be
La Liga's meant to be
moving
one of the
forward.
biggest. I mean, it is one of the biggest leagues in the world.
Yeah.
It's globally recognized,
Yeah.
and it's
Were you
it's
there when Greenwood signed for Getafe?
just after. So that came up as well.
Yeah.
Which I just think like
What were people saying about that?
less so because
Okay.
I mean the women's stuff was taking
Was
over
bigger,
the
yeah,
news,
yeah.
but it was definitely. I just saw a lot of memes about it, honestly, which is the sad reality of
Yeah.
media these days. Is like everybody just couldn't believe it's the La Liga. It's got this reputation for racism, and now it's like
Yeah.
now sexual harassment and things like
Yeah.
that don't matter as well.
Yeah,
It doesn't look good.
it's scary. I mean, he got abused in his game this weekend.
He played his first minutes.
He
as
came
well.
in, it was a big win for them actually. They scored late to win that 1-3-2. But he came in late and they were chanting, apparently they were chanting, "Die Greenwood, die."
Oh.
I think it was a pocket of German fans just saying "the Greenwood, the." That's what I think it was.
Gee,
You know what? I don't actually think they were telling him to. But anyway, that's just me.
who knows? But it is.
But, producer Hamish liked that one.
You like that one.
But regardless, apparently he's the most sold jersey in Getafe history. So
That's
I don't
so
know.
crazy.
I don't know. A time will tell what happens there.
While I was away, this is really off topic, but I finally watched the documentary about Aaron Hernandez, the
Oh, the
NFL player that murdered all these people. And the one thing it did make me think about when it comes to like every other sport is like when you've purchased a jersey of a player
Yeah.
that now has a reputation like that. There was this one guy in the documentary who was like, my surname is Hernandez and now I can't even wear a jersey with my own name on it because I feel ashamed.
Yeah.
And like to see that like the Greenwood jerseys are going crazy in Spain, it's just
Weird, right?
it doesn't sit well with me at all.
No. Like why would
Yeah,
it's
but
just
I
it's
think-
kind of a comment on
Not to rehash too much of like the whole Rubiales thing because it is progressing, but being there at that time, you also saw the other side of it, which was the fact that, like the video came out of Jenny and the team kind of laughing about what had
about it.
happened on the bus. And
Yeah.
it's so typical that people who are pro Rubiales and pro the Spanish Federation
Were
and
using
everything like that were using that as proof that this was some kind of plot to to get rid of them and to do whatever they needed to do. But like seeing that side of it too was really frustrating as well. The good news is no one I was with felt like that. So I didn't have to like argue with anyone.
No.
But yeah, it was a pretty crazy time to be in Spain, to be honest.
Insane. Crazy time. It seems like it's getting resolved, but like you
Yeah.
said, the protests are going on as well, so there's still a lot going on there. A couple Aussies bagged some goals. Katrina Gorry scored a worldie over there in Sweden. Connor Metcalf scored a rocket as well for
That was
St. Pauli.
insane.
Yeah, good to see how Aussies taking pings from outside the box.
And because Jackson was off.
Yeah, he stuffed his ankle back.
Yeah, so we
against
had
Mexico.
it was nice to see him Metcalf jump in and do that.
Exactly right. The young Aussie popping up and doing something. We've got to talk a little bit about Ange Postecoglou. We'll probably talk about him later because I know a lot of our fan questions came in, which we are going to get to a bit later on in the show. He won Manager of the Month in his first month in the Premier League. That's huge.
Yeah.
What's even bigger than that, he was nominated for the FIFA Best Manager in the World Award. Only 5 managers. This is crazy. I almost, I'm so happy. For me, managers are more important than players.
Oh,
I'll get to that a bit later on. But I'm really happy that he got nominated. I was a bit surprised. I'm not going to lie. A bit surprised.
What's surprising? How quickly it's happened?
I just was
is this
surprised
like a
that he
next
got
season thing?
nominated for winning with Celtic. No disrespect on the Scottish Premiership, but I just thought
Well, he's 50 games unbeaten now.
he's got that home record now.
Across all of those.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I
teams,
think
yeah.
popularity has had a lot to do with it with Ange. I think
of
he's so popular.
course.
Take away his results, like take away all that. Because if you look at like the impact of like a Roberto De Zerbi on Brighton, I know he doesn't have the trophies to go with it, whereas Ange has Scottish trophies. But like what De Zerbi's done, arguably, he'd be almost
Insane. Oh, I mean,
more-
producer Mish and I were talking about this before. I am the biggest fan of De Zerbi because he hasn't really had to change much of this Brighton squad.
He's a freak, yeah,
but
it's
he's
an amazing
changed
manager.
them completely. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he doesn't have the squad that United and Liverpool and these guys have on paper, but like what he's been able to do with them is crazy.
It's crazy. If you followed his journey, he's done brilliant everywhere he's been. Like his Sassuolo team was so good and was punching way above Sassuolo's weight.
Yeah.
And they're dropped off massively now. Shakhtar short-lived because of the war, but then now he's at Brighton and he's also punching way above his weight. But he's not at clubs that are even really going to come close to a trophy. Whereas Ange, to all his credit, has picked clubs that can
Yeah.
win trophies as well.
That's
you know,
a
like
good- that's a good
Yokohama,
point.
he got that trophy. Celtic, he got trophies.
Yeah.
Now is his real challenge because this is a club that's usually trophy challenged.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But it's incredible. It's him, Xavi, Guardiola, Inzaghi, and Spalletti
How crazy.
nominated.
What a lineup.
It's
and Ange
amazing.
Postecoglou.
To have an Australian there.
I have to say, I love how he's been treating the media, how he's been giving so much in press conferences, like his depth of answers. I think people love listening to him.
Yeah.
It's
he's
really
just funny,
refreshing.
man.
I think we haven't seen a character like that in the Premier League for quite some time. You've either got managers who are just like, you know, saying the same thing all the time or not speaking.
Yeah.
And now you've got an Ange who's kind of leaving a little anecdote for you
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah, and he's funny, man. I think it's great. It's doing incredible things for Australian football. Every country, not every country, but most countries have a player that rolls into the Prem at some point.
Yeah.
You know, you can produce a great player, but to
Yeah.
produce a great manager
Different.
doesn't happen.
Different.
I mean, even the English.
Yeah.
I mean, how many good managers do England produce? Well, you say the best
mean-
manager at the moment is what, Eddie Howe?
Yeah, but that's the point is most of the Premier League managers who have succeeded
Yeah.
are foreign.
Oh, foreign. Here's a fact for you. I mean, a lot of people probably know this fact, but there might be some people that don't know if you know this, Kat, but an English manager's never won the Premier League.
I have heard that
Right. The
before.
last English manager to win was with Leeds in 92, the year before the Prem. So we're talking 30 years of history now. An English manager hasn't won it. And so to go in there as an Australian, where everyone thinks you just play AFL and, you know, you ride kangaroos to school, it's massive for him to go there and have this impact.
Don't give our secrets away.
Man, you ever got asked that in Spain? Surely.
Of course.
Yeah.
They think we have kangaroos in the backyard.
Yeah. Spiders and crocodiles and everything.
Well, we do have those. Like we do have spiders.
Yeah, we do have spiders. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost spider season as well. Get
Yeah, I
ready.
don't wanna think
Get
about
ready.
it.
Let's go to some international news. Saudi Arabia. I
Here
love
we
talking about
go.
Saudis.
Yes.
They just, it's something different.
Yeah.
You know, whether you agree with it or not, it's just this new zone that we're
Do you
focusing
know,
on.
I have to say,
Yeah.
and forgive my ignorance, I did not know that there was a Saudi Women's League. And
is what
we're
we're
in
about to
our
talk about.
second season.
This is what we're about to talk about. It's fantastic. If Saudis, think about it, everyone criticizes Saudi, right? Because like, fuck you guys, you're giving guys too much money, you're doing all this shit. Imagine Saudis start to give that money out to female players, the money that they probably should be getting in Europe. They started giving it to them in the Saudi
Yeah.
League. Imagine how the difference in tone.
But the average wage in Saudi is just naturally going to be so much higher than what they
Exactly.
can offer in
Exactly.
Europe. I mean, I told you, right? Like the Barca girls didn't play.
Yeah.
Or no one played that weekend
Yeah.
because they were fighting for a minimum wage of
Yeah.
how much do you think the minimum wage is to play in La Liga or in
how much it is?
the women's league in Spain?
Probably about 30,000 euros.
They have now made it 27,000 euros.
Right, yeah.
So that's what we're working with here.
Yeah. The
And I know,
footballers
and
buy
I
that
can
in a
hear,
watch.
I can already hear all the like, oh, but it's women's football, like no one
Nah,
attends.
come
It's a different story in Spain. Like people do attend.
Yeah,
They
especially
do have the revenue.
Barca filling up Nou Camp.
Yeah.
You can't be filling up Nou Camp on 27 grand a year.
Like granted, it's a farmers league.
What do you mean? Oh, because they dominate
Oh
everyone.
yeah. Like if Barca weren't
Yeah, but
in
so's the men's one.
it's an absolute
Let's be real, there's 2 teams that win
La
it.
Liga is a farmers league. I mean, did you see the
it's not. Be careful. We
Barca?
both work at Optus Sport. Shut up. No, I'm joking. Or you can have a laugh. It's like the Bundesliga is a farmers league, but it's not.
No,
But you
it's
get-
still amazing football.
Yeah. But the Premier League's a farmers league. City going to win it again.
To be honest, they're all farmers leagues.
Exactly.
But I was surprised by the score overnight with Barca Real Betis being like 4-0.
5-0, yeah, crazy.
5-0.
Yeah, crazy.
Anyway, it's not a farmers league.
No, it's not. But anyway, we're going to talk about that with Ashley Plumtree.
Plumtree.
I don't like when the R comes before the E. I don't know how to
Yeah,
say it.
it's kind of like Plumptree, but there's only one E at the end.
I see it like Plumter.
That's incorrect.
Okay. Well, Plumtree,
She's amazing though. Like
had a
she
great
went
World Cup.
crazy during the World Cup.
she had a really good World Cup and she was really passionate with her posts,
Super
like with the press
passionate,
conferences and
yeah.
stuff. Anyway, she signed for Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And this has made, global shockwaves, of course, because a lot of people didn't know that the Saudis had a women's league. Al Nassr won it last year. But I got good news for you. I had a look at the league. And I know you were thinking of making a comeback to football.
Yeah.
And I actually think you could play in the Saudi women's league.
I think they'd love my surname.
Do you know what I mean? Like you suit the vibes. You got that Arabian flair
Okay.
about you. And there's a team here that I reckon would pick you up. So I had a look at the
Oh,
table.
here we go.
I had a look at the table from last year, and Al Nassr won it. Credit to them. Ronaldo's team
It's
up.
obviously not them, is it?
Al Ittihad were mid-table, and now they've signed Ashley Plumtree. So let's see how that goes.
Cool.
Bottom of the league is 8-team competition. Al Bayrak. Right, Al Bayrak. They only played 14 games in the season. You play everyone twice. That's it.
Excellent.
14 matches. They finished with 0 points. They scored 1 goal. They conceded 173 goals, Kat. They have a goal difference of minus 172 in 14 games. I'm no mathematician. 173, I'm going to use my calculator, divided by 14. They averaged 12.3 goals a game conceded. I think you can go sign for them.
I think they need me.
I think you can go play for them.
I think they need me. And although like some may interpret what you're saying as really rude,
Why?
because that's fucking hopeless.
It's not
I
like
still
you play
think-
for fucking Sydney FC, Kat.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
But also, that's the thing. Okay, hypothetical. Would you rather play for like a Sydney FC and like make, minimum wage,
Right.
or play for a team like that that's conceding 12 goals a game and make a shit ton of money?
I'll probably make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But I'd hope that I can try and make a change. Like any impact.
You
Kat,
make a
you're-
change.
Kat, you're a number 9.
Yeah.
They scored 1 goal last
Yeah,
season.
I could
If
score
you rocked
more
up
than
and
one
scored
for-
1, you're equaling
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year's
yeah.
team record.
Yeah. I'm
know what
getting
I mean?
a trophy on trophy night.
Do you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
getting MVP for 1 goal.
You know what? Let's make it happen.
There you go. Next thing you know, Kat Haddad will sign for Al Barak
Yeah.
in Saudi Pro League. Let's make it happen.
Anna Elbara.
Yeah.
You know that video that Steven Gerrard
Yeah. That was the worst. Stevie
Anna
G.
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Anna El Atifati. I don't even remember what he said. It was
I
so
saw
funny.
the memes on that.
Oh,
Man,
God.
the memes were brilliant.
Anyway, I'll make my own version of that.
Sticking in Spain, because you were just there, there was a story that came out about Sevilla. So Sevilla played this morning, yesterday, depending when you're listening to the pod. They finally had their first win. Ramos started, Sergio Ramos, which is amazing.
I just
You're
have
a
to
big
take-
Sergio Ramos fan.
I wasn't growing up,
Right.
like because of the whole Real Madrid Barca
you're
thing.
Barca, aren't you?
And he always just like,
I love him. He's great.
do you know what though? Not only is he just beautiful to look at,
Yeah.
it's unnecessary. I didn't need to say it, but I did.
Yeah, it's fine. I can't
He-
say it, but you can, apparently. It's fine. No, carry on. Tell Olan that one. Me and Olan can't say someone's beautiful, but you can. That's cool. Yep.
I've gained a lot of respect for him as a player with this decision that he's made.
Yeah.
Like it's refreshing. Like we haven't seen enough of that happening in any league, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know we were just talking about Saudi and players moving over there, but like there is a part of it that like still is a little bit sad to me. Like I do miss the presence of these players, especially the ones that are moving over like way too young.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just needed to say it
Yeah.
because it happened while I was over there. But I'm so glad
That's crazy.
that Ramos
He accepted
signed.
1 million instead of 20 if he would have gone to
But
Saudi.
then look at the way he's been received. Like, look at the applause that he gets when he walks in the stadium. Like, to me, that would be priceless to feel like that
apparently
when
some
you're there.
Sevilla fans were not happy with the signing.
Yeah, but that's
at the
always
start,
going to be
because
the
he
way.
left Sevilla young to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But it's Real Madrid and they come knocking. But apparently they never forgave him for that. A couple times he scored against Sevilla, he celebrated. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
But they can just like what? They can get over it.
Okay. Well, they're gonna get over it if he keeps keeping clean sheets because he did. But that's not right why I bring this game up. So, 15 Las Palmas players missed the plane to go to Sevilla. So they had to go to Sevilla to play this match.
What were they
15
doing?
players and 2 physios missed the plane because they went to get a coffee and they got lost on the way back in the airport and the plane took off without them. This is La Liga footballers. Again, footballers, they get a bad rap, Kat.
Yeah.
Stories like this don't help. You know, they got lost.
They got lost.
But the coffee's important.
Oh, like I get that.
You know, the
I
coffee
get
before
that,
the flight.
But it's
Yeah, that ever happened to you? You ever missed a flight?
no. I mean I've run for flights.
You've run for flights? Yeah.
I had a I've slept through a flight once though. Like I never got there at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was pretty bad.
Shit.
Actually.
Yeah.
That's why I have like whenever I have a flight in the morning, I just cannot sleep because of that one.
Because of that one
experience.
time you had that, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Missed the flight? Nah, I've been called over the thing. I was in the toilet like, oh shit. That was once. Yeah. And another time they said, oh, the flight's delayed. So I went to have a wine. And then they changed their mind and they fixed the plane and they're getting angry at me.
Like,
Anyway.
what do you expect?
So I actually feel for these guys because it
Yeah,
happens.
I do too, especially if you're like needing that coffee. It's like early
Yeah.
morning.
Surely you can find them though. Like you're missing 15
What
Las Palmas
airport was
players
it? Do we know? Was it the
leaving them to go to Sevilla. So wherever.
so the airport that they're at all the time?
That's what I mean.
That's so bad. It's not like they're in.
It's
they're
not
not
like
in
they were
like
in Sevilla going back.
they're not in some no-name airport
they're
they've
in
never
their
been
home-
to before.
They're in their home airport.
No, there's no excuse for that. Like
No. Yeah. Anyway.
no way.
But they
That's
got there and
hilarious.
lost, so it was clearly worth it. Another man who's now former La Liga, I guess, did everything he could do in that league. Now he's in the MLS, Lionel Messi. Crazy what's happening over there. Didn't play their most recent game. They lost to Atlanta. Cool team,
Atlanta.
probably the coolest stadium in the league for a lot of people. But there's something about that stadium that isn't cool, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But before I get to that, Messi, a lot of people have been buying tickets to see this guy. He didn't play, right? Now, people knew he wasn't going to play because the day before the game, he posted a story of a pizza that he was eating and he bought from a local
I
pizzeria.
saw the pizza, Claudes.
I've got a photo of the pizza.
It's like a Spanish like that's like everything that's on a table, like nibbles before a meal, but like that's not a meal.
It's tapas,
Yeah.
just giant.
It's like the olives, the onions, the tomatoes, but like everything on a pizza is very confusing.
It's strange. It's kind of like he's just basically, he's done a margarita, but instead of tomato sauce, he's using tomato slices. And then he's gotten rid of the cheese, but he's added olives
yeah.
and a couple rings of
You know
onion.
what it looks a lot like Lebanese manouche, like that's what we put on top of.
There you go. Messi likes manouche.
It's all it's missing is the za'atar layer, like it's
Za'atar.
got za'atar.
Zatar. Brilliant. Sounds like Jafar is the bad guy in Aladdin, not Zatar. But he clearly, that's what he wanted. He just wanted a Lebo pizza, man. Everyone's like complaining about his pizza.
know.
He just misses the manouche in Paris.
Yeah. That's
And-
so fair.
Anyway, he loved it.
Yeah.
He seemed to love it. And that's when people knew he wasn't going to play. So what happened was Atlanta beat him and then...
Wait, sorry, the pizza signified that he wasn't playing.
Well, he wasn't traveling with the team because he was
Gotcha.
busy having pizza somewhere.
Sorry,
That's when they
sorry.
knew he wasn't traveling.
Yeah.
But Atlanta, when they beat them 5-2, I think the final score was, they said something about you can have your pizza and go back to Miami or something like that. Like they'll gene him up about his pizza and they reposted it. Now, there's the conspiracy theories as to why he didn't play. He was ruled out with fatigue. But this was the first game he was set to play on a synthetic pitch.
Doesn't like the synthetic.
Apparently, he doesn't like synthetic
Don't blame
for
him.
his body.
In Atlanta too?
Atlanta's
Imagine
pitch is
how
synthetic.
hot it would get.
So this is my thing. Onside or offside, Lionel Messi choosing what surface he wants to play on.
I mean, at this point,
No
like,
other player gets to choose.
what is this? What is
Should
this?
Lionel Messi be allowed to choose
Where do
what
we
type
draw
of
the
grass
line?
he plays on?
Where do we draw the line with Messi though?
I don't know.
feel like this man's been dictating his career for a while now.
So you think it's fine? He can just, if it's synthetic, I'm going to sit this one out.
I just don't think it's. I don't think it's okay. I just think he can.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
He's just at that level.
Yeah. It's like, well, who's going to argue with him?
Well, I mean, this doesn't come out. So when he signed, they asked him, they said, you know, you okay? You're going to be playing on synthetic pitches. And he said, I grew up playing on synthetic pitches. I'll adapt again. But of course, he said that in the media. So far, 11 games he's played, they've all been on grass. This was the first one. He's got a few more to go. I think there's 6 teams in the MLS that play on synthetic.
Well, the real test will be the next time they
We'll
face
see.
synthetic.
Yeah, if he's injured
And if
again.
he's eating pizza again.
Yeah, then you know
out
that's
there.
the issue. And I don't blame him.
Me neither. You are not a fan of the old
Anyone
synthetic.
that plays in the NPL anywhere will know that it's all synthetic and it's garbage for your body.
Yeah.
It's so shit.
It's so hot. Like the soles of your feet as well.
That
like,
too,
it
yeah.
feels disgusting.
Yeah, if you're playing in the middle of Aussie summer, 100%,
Yeah.
it's bad. But even just, it's just, it doesn't give. It's bad for the joints. It sucks. Completely unrelated, but Aaron Rodgers made news. New York Jets quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
First week of the NFL, he did his Achilles on synthetic.
Oh.
Jackson Irvine, of course, did his ankle badly on the synthetic pitch that Australia played on against Mexico. So it's been a lot of calls for people saying that at the highest level, you shouldn't be playing on plastic grass.
I agree with that.
There's so much money in the game, you should be able to keep a good grass pitch.
I completely agree with that.
And I agree with
And
that
also somewhere like Atlanta where there's like, I mean, I don't know everything about Atlanta, but I know that more or less it's a decent climate. Like it's warmer than it is cold.
Yeah. You've been really a weather lady on this one. Yeah, you
Really? Have I?
The heat is really your problem with the synthetic pitch.
No, I'm talking about like maintaining.
Maintaining the
yeah,
grass.
I hadn't made my point yet.
Is there rainfall in Atlanta?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I would say there's enough to grow some grass.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't know why they don't. We've got to find that out. Alrighty, picking back up. We got producer Mish
Hello.
has jumped in on the couch. Now, why do we bring producer Mish in?
Ball knowledge.
So,
You do actually have really good ball knowledge.
yeah, Mish has got great ball knowledge. He just stays up all night watching footy. He's a
Yeah.
Newcastle fan. He's also an official licensed referee,
Yes.
which is why I'm excited to have you on.
Yes.
And also we can't call it FIFA anymore, but
Yeah.
you are a
Oh,
EA
yes.
Sports FC
Streamer.
content creator.
Yeah.
creator.
I got a TikTok page.
Got a
Check
big,
it out.
Big TikTok
Got a
page as well.
solid following as well.
Yeah. So
Whenever they
it's-
come up, I have no idea.
No.
you
what's
don't
going
understand
on.
what's happening.
Not really.
No.
because you're in like a niche part of the game as
100%.
well.
Yeah.
See, I know that much.
Yeah. Pro clubs. It's a
Yes,
part of the game.
exactly.
We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
The game's going to come out soon.
Can I ask you a question about the refereeing?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to complete a certificate?
So just for context, Sunday League ref. I'm not like a.
Yeah, but it's the
You have
everyone
to do
had
a
to do that,
3-hour
right?
training course on Zoom, and then it's a practical session,
Cool.
and then after a few things, you can move up to like different ones. You have to do different sessions for it,
Okay.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a schmozzle. But
Yeah. Get more focus on the referees, I say. I want to see referees with
Yeah.
Instagram
100%,
pages, you know.
100%.
I mean, it's just you're always seeing the officials making headlines, you know, in
Yeah.
every sport. It's just a position that gets everybody talking. So
Yeah.
it's like
Everyone loves to hate
Good,
him.
like you got Howard Webb has that show now, and Michael Owen, where
Yeah.
they go through the things, just little things like that, makes it more.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that? So I'm so sorry. I'm just
No, it's fine.
hijacking this
No, you
completely.
just talk about refs. It's good.
I find it fascinating. Just one last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you empathize with the ref more than the average
100%.
person?
Yeah. You just like read
Interesting.
Twitter and it's just like, the ref's a fucking moron for this. It's like, well, he's a human. As long as you can justify the decisions, like, yeah.
You
Fair
can
enough.
understand the thought process.
Yeah, exactly. If you know the laws and you thought the thought process behind it.
Yeah. We've already spoken about Ange, but now we're going to go through some fan questions.
Yeah.
Aesthetic football, not a question, just pointing out Big Ange is him. How far can he go? Is he a serious contender?
Yeah, everyone's talking title now. Like,
It
top
seems
four.
a bit too fast.
Yeah,
to do
top
that.
4. I think if Tottenham do top 4, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Especially the competition there at the moment.
Yeah, big success if that's the case. But I do want to talk to you about that Sheffield United game because the manager came out blaming the referees, saying they were appalling. So apparently, the Sheffield time wasting on goal kicks, it was misunderstood. The referee wasn't happy with basically what they were doing. Kat, they were setting up to play short, taking their time, couldn't play short because Tottenham was stepping up. So then they changed their mind, would wait for their players to get forward and then kick it long. The referee apparently at half time had a word with him in the tunnel. This is what happened, Hamish, right? And he said,
just
kick it long next time.
No, the Sheffield coach went up.
He said that.
Yeah.
The Sheffield coach went up to the ref and said, look, this is why we're going short. This is why we're taking longer on goal kicks is because we're trying to play. He actually showed him a video, according to his press conference. And the ref just told him, just kick it long.
Just kick it long next time. So the referee was giving him instructions on how to play football.
That's cold.
Surely offside.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that. We got next one from Brandon Grimmer. Is the City Pool era back? Are you buying Liverpool hype? Are they the main contenders for Manchester City?
Yeah, honestly, watching them, pretty impressive. That front six, man, is ridiculous.
It's really nice.
They
Really
just
good.
bought themselves back into it.
We
with the
are
new
making
midfield.
it hard for ourselves though.
Yeah.
Like no game has felt easy.
Yeah.
They're struggling with their first half performances, right?
But look, it's great to see a depth of squad where you can make a couple of substitutions and win the game.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's in the words of Tony Gustavsson, who said this 1,000 times during the World Cup. Like the squad you finish with is just as important as the squad you start with.
Yeah.
But it's still frustrating to kind of see that there's still a few dots that aren't connecting, you know, in those earlier minutes. But yeah, like I'm happy.
It is a good time to be a Liverpool fan. Still, I guess, not a long way to go, but I think a long way to go if anyone is going to be even slightly competing over 38 weeks with Manchester City. Jordan Knight, where are Chelsea and United going wrong? Look, for Chelsea, we were talking about this Mish, before. I think Chelsea are just missing that final product. They actually don't play bad.
Yeah.
They're not a bad side, but
It's
just
the finishing.
It's the finishing and it's the step before the finishing.
It
we'll
is,
say.
yeah. Too
Ian
many
Wright.
young players, too much rush of blood in the final part.
Right.
Yeah.
Type vibe.
Yeah.
It goes to show how important that experience is,
That's
right?
the
Like
thing.
having those players that have kind of been there, done that,
Yeah.
mixing that with the fresh talent.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you find that perfect
And I think that's why
mix.
Sterling looks their best player because like
Yeah.
he has
He's
that.
Been there,
so
done that.
He's been there, done
relaxed.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, his final ball is great.
I think I was watching Alan Shearer and Ian Wright talk about it, and they were saying that the problem's not the finishing, the problem's like the ball that leads to the ball that crosses. You know,
Yeah.
it's that through ball, and it's basically what De Bruyne, Rodri, what kind of Bernardo Silva, what these guys do time and time again for City. When a team is sat back and they need that first pass to unlock, Chelsea don't have at the moment. And that just comes with experience. So, but look, focus on Brighton. The team was worth 18 million and they completely bossed
We were having
Manchester
a chat.
United.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we'll see people like Man United fans on Twitter complaining about, oh, there's no identity in the club and Ten Hag, blah, blah. It's like, bro, Brighton are playing like Tariq Lamptey left back, all
Yeah.
these random ass players out of position, and they're dominating teams.
Yeah, he's
Like-
making them world class players.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you can spend 80 mil on your Casemiros, but yeah, the hood for free.
Exactly right. It's amazing what they've done.
Yeah,
it's the scouting and the impact of this manager. Is just
It goes to show because you look at the manager turnover that we saw last season. To be able to do what Zerbi's done with this squad, making very few changes, very few like kind of high end changes, right?
Yeah, nothing.
He just understands the players, understands the game, is able to unlock them, get them working with each other in a way that other managers couldn't.
But I was having this conversation today. It's an incredibly well-run club. And
Yeah.
it's a club that is
100%.
easily the best run club in the UK and potentially the
wow.
best run club in Europe at the moment. The way they're running it from the top down.
So
is
from
something-
a managerial
Yes.
perspective,
Yes.
the way that
And
kind
that's
of
why they're
down to
successful.
the foundations,
100%.
Yeah, I turned on the Chelsea game. I totally forgot that they'd bought Robert Sanchez. Like,
Yeah.
and the amount of money Brighton got for their second choice goalkeeper.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like,
But even letting McAllister, letting Caicedo, you're letting like two really, you'd think, key components of your midfield go to big clubs for massive amounts of money. And you just brought in new players and it just ticks. If anything, it looks better. It kind of looks better without him.
Billy
It's like he
Gilmore's
knew
been
this
great.
whole time, you know?
Yeah.
man.
It's amazing.
crazy.
It's amazing. And I dare say, fuck it. I'm throwing it out there. Like what De Zerbi's doing with this Brighton team is up there with Leicester City. The only problem is there was no Pep City when
Yeah.
Leicester City went on that run because this Leicester won. I believe I believe they won it with 81 points,
Sounds
Yeah,
right.
it was like one of the
Right.
lowest.
and I think Brighton would be capable of 81 points.
oh yeah.
It's just that City will get high 90s, and you
Yeah.
can't win a Premier League with 81 points when Pep.
Yeah,
Guardiola
something
was
has to go really awry with City
Yeah.
for
Yeah, when I put in that City pool question, I had a look at the table. And yeah, like obviously Man City's up there, and I was looking Liverpool are up there, but then Brighton are
they're on
Brighton are
equal
there.
points,
Same- equal
right?
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no points. They're there. I think they're capable of an 80-point season. You know, they don't have to think about champion. Like your boys Newcastle now have a lot to think about.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think they're capable of that this year, but I think
Yeah.
Brighton are. And
That's the only thing Europa League when that comes in, whether or not they can.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But what's amazing, and I'd take nothing away from Leicester. That's the best story of the Premier League ever.
Yeah,
But
it's so good.
but you know, Leicester did it playing their football as well. Brighton are doing it playing such attractive football. It would be incredible if De Zerbi was to win the Premier League. It would eclipse Leicester City.
yeah.
you
Even
know?
what he's doing now is almost like you'd argue.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It would
eclipsing
be a refreshing change
Yeah, it'd be
after
amazing.
like
But even just
City
a top
era.
four. You know,
Yeah.
if they make the Champions League,
Yeah.
this is huge.
Yeah, 100%.
We're watching something incredible unfold. So I hope they keep going. A quick nod to the rest of Europe. Milan got absolutely hammered in the derby.
saw that.
5-1 to Inter. That's not on over there if you know those
No
people.
way.
Yeah, that's
They're
good for
angry.
as a Newcastle fan because we got him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they might bounce back. You never know how that's going to... You just think
Yeah.
it'll demoralize
Maybe they were
them.
saving their energy for that game.
Yeah, well,
And Tonali.
yeah. Well, apparently they didn't rest any key players, so we've got all the, we rested like 3 or 4 key players. So yeah, looks good for us.
There you go. Looks good for Newcastle. Just don't. Tonali eating at the wrong places. You were saying he got stitched up by his teammates. He got sent to like a shit food chain.
Sent to
like
Weatherspoons.
Weatherspoons.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
Weatherspoons
yeah.
is like a chain.
Yeah.
It's like the chavvy place. Like you
Yeah.
don't really, eat there if you're a chav. But the guy working there took a photo and there was a reservation sign that said Tonali. He's like, surely not. Surely Tonali's not coming
No
to Weatherspoons.
way.
Like 300K a week.
You don't see that name often at a Weatherspoons though.
No, you don't. But sure enough, like next photo was him with Tonali. Like, hey.
I wonder if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, the whole joke was
What's on the menu there?
It's just like your classic British pub food.
Okay.
Yeah, like you roast.
What
It's
would
like not bad
Tonali
food.
order?
It's just like I don't know. What?
Yeah, I don't
What do you
know.
reckon he'd
Yeah.
order?
I'm sure he was.
But the joke was
polite.
like, who sent him there? And because like it's a very like British.
Unless he
thing to go.
He'd
googled
be one of
like
his
places to eat near me, and it's just come up.
Well, there's
first.
been good rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the locals rating.
There's a few around. It must be good.
Yeah.
It'd be one of his teammates for sure. Pacino wrote in thoughts on Milan fans booing Donnarumma while he's playing for the national team. So Milan, of
Yeah.
course, are in the horrors because their own team got hammered. But Italy played recently
Yeah.
the World Euro qualifiers. He gets booed because he left when he puts an Italian jersey on. Onside or offside, people just need to separate club and country when it's the country playing. Do you think?
I get why they do it.
If a Newcastle player went to Sunderland, then he's playing for England, would you boo him?
I don't know. I think Pickford is a good example.
Right.
Like England's #1 goalkeeper.
Mm.
If Newcastle fans booed him, yeah, I feel like you got to get around the play. Actually, no. I feel like you got to get around the players
When
the
it's your
national
country,
team.
you got to let it go.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Like Pickford, I actually enjoy watching when he plays for England.
And then
So
you just
yeah.
boo him when he plays for his club.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if PSG,
You know what it is? If he played in
well,
Serie
PSG
A,
are about to play Milan now in the Champions League because they're in the
Yeah,
same
they
group.
would, yeah.
There you go. So that's where you boo him.
yeah, well, I feel like because he's not in the Serie A, they don't get a chance to boo him.
Yeah,
like he doesn't
yeah.
come to the
True.
away game, or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
They would because they would be booing him at a club level. as well.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
exclusive to that.
No,
Yeah.
no. Before we finish up, some other quick stories. Roma smacked Empoli for 7. Finally, Jose Mourinho's team's clicking. Lukaku scored in that game as well, which is great for him. There's one thing I quickly wanted to get your opinion on.
Yeah.
A bit of an onside offside. Because it happened in Italy, Frosinone, right? They're new to the Serie A. They're doing actually quite well. They beat Sassuolo, and their goalkeeper made some huge saves. Like, have a look at some of the saves he made in stoppage time.
yeah,
Crazy
yeah.
saves. He's on loan,
He's on loan
From Sassuolo.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And did it against his club. Because in Italy, you're allowed to play. Same thing happened in Germany. Heidenheim got their first ever Bundesliga win. The man who scored 2 goals against Werder is on loan from Werder. So this is happening in other leagues. But in the Premier League, this can't happen.
Yeah,
So
they
the
don't
Premier League
play.
has a special rule that if you are out on loan, you can't play against your parent club. Onside or offside, players playing for another team, scoring against the club that actually owns you.
Yeah, it's offside for me. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like Coutinho's the best. Coutinho
He did it in the
Bayern
Champions League, right?
destroying Barcelona. That's a
Yeah.
great example.
Yeah.
It is offside, but at the same time, there's a lot of those like deals now where clubs are loaning players with the option to buy it. So like Hall, who's on loan from Chelsea, we're only loaning him for financial fair play reasons.
Right.
No, you know.
Right.
He's technically our player. He'll be our player at the end of the season, but he can't play against you guys.
Right.
But
He's got a loan on technicalities.
Exactly. He's got
Okay.
no intention of going back to Chelsea. Like
Right.
that's just a stopgap.
That's
So play like in those examples, you'd go, yeah, he could play, score, take his shirt off, run around. But yeah, there's something about that.
I like it. I think they
Yeah.
should be able to play.
Yeah, I look. I'm classic me on the fence. I can see both sides. Because on one end, like you don't know if you're going to ever return back to that club. Like I know
Yeah.
we see it's a contractual thing, but like you often see these kind of like on loan situations, and they might go back, but they never make the starting team. Like, why not make the most of every game that you play? And if that means that you're playing against the team that you are technically a part of, they're not the ones that are playing you.
Yeah.
Could you imagine as a keeper, you know, it's hard. Like there's one position as a keeper. You miss 2 games a season,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
against the team who you're on
You could
loan
be out of
from.
the squad.
You could be out of the squad. You know, if that other keeper comes in, has a good couple games, you know.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
get it.
well, Dinchi. This is the thing; you can do it respectfully, right?
Yeah.
So Dinchi, who was the player that scored 2 goals for Heidenheim against Werder this morning, he in both his goals didn't celebrate, put his hand up, apologized.
that.
Like no one at Werder's going to
Yeah,
hate him
true,
because he's a good player. If anything, they'll be excited to call him back.
I rate that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
I think they should be allowed to play.
I think
is just-
he's gone about that the right way.
Yeah, it adds a bit of spice.
It's good.
Not like Çalhanoğlu, who I mean, he's not on loan, but just
No,
scored
but
against
you-
Milan and went mental when he
Yeah.
scored his
great,
goal.
bro.
He's such
Goes
a dog,
up,
bro.
pushing the crowds and
It's
stuff.
such a dog move. But yeah, I don't know. I want to see it happen. I love that extra little spice.
Yeah. Fair.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up.
We do.
We are at the very end. But before we wrap up, I've got a question from Aesthetic Football, and we spoke a little bit about it on the pod. I'm going to get your opinion, Kat, next week because we're going to wrap up that Champions League.
Yes.
But while you're here, producer Mish, quick one: who's winning the Champions League?
I wouldn't put it past City doing it again. It's a boring answer. It's a boring
That's
answer.
shit.
But honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Or even Madrid, like,
Yeah.
could, they're a cup team.
Jude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Okay. My second question for you:
Dark horse.
PSG, Milan, Newcastle, Dortmund. Who gets out of the group?
I don't think PSG will.
Oh, come on. Really? With
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe, he's not getting out of the group.
Listen, Dan Burn masterclass on PS. No, honestly,
A Denver masterclass.
So who gets out? You and...
I would take third because then we could go on a Europa League run.
Right.
Because those teams who make the round of 16 get knocked out.
Yeah.
And then you're out of everything.
You'd rather Europa
You'd rather
League.
finish third, do Europa. So I'd
Okay.
rather do that than like go round of 16 get knocked out. But honestly, Milan, Milan PSG. I haven't really even seen much of Dortmund this season. I don't know.
They're struggling.
Look, for me, I'm just enjoying it because it's four of the best teams and like.
I wanted you to tell me Newcastle was top in that group.
Just say Newcastle are topping.
I wanted you to back that.
Honestly, I think we go. It's about our home form. I reckon if we get 3 wins at home and then like a draw at like San Siro, I think we'll be sweet. Yeah, but it's all about the home form.
The fact that Newcastle are going to the San Siro again is
dude.
fantastic.
My dad's
you
in
know?
England. I said go to Milan.
Yeah.
Get a flight.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I
know,
love
bro,
this
there's-
era of
there's fam-
Newcastle football that we're in.
Yeah, no, it is fantastic to see. It's great. Can't wait for Champions League to be back. It's just something extra special when the Champos are on. Buzzing for it, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on Born Offside. If you do follow Olan on anything, please message him and rip into him for not turning up for the show today.
He will be as a result.
Yeah, he will be back. Oh, my producer Mish jumped in and did a fantastic job. Thanks so much, Kat. Good to have you back as well.
Nice to be back.
Good to have
Love
you back.
this place.
Make sure you're following the pod, subscribe to us, flick us a 5-star rating if you're having a good time, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Bye, guys.